This video is just about some stupid YouTube internet drama. People on YouTube right now are acting like Girls Gone Wild, Mean Girls, just high school drama crap. And I just want to give my take on the drama aspect of YouTube. I've been on YouTube almost 3 years or something, so I think I've got some experience in just the drama elements of this website. Some backstory to this: so there is a YouTuber called Kraut and T.
You know why I love the internet? We get to look at this through a lens of a little bit of humor. Because if you were to be confronted with something like that, you wouldn't be in the position to make even a small fucking joke.
Through the lens of humor while the bodies are still warm.
I had known him for some time, had personal conversations and interactions with him, talked to him on Skype and stuff. Originally, we were part of a group that was fighting against a YouTuber called AIU, who was trying to intimidate people through doxing and so forth, and Kraut didn't like that, and other people got on board, like Naked Ape was there, and Oozaloo, etc. Bunch of people on a server, and then we would just like take on Atheism is Unstoppable. AIU has become increasingly irrelevant and his content is just really boring. And I'm just not interested in him anymore. I think AIU has just been stagnating for a long time. People are like over him. Anyways, I tried to develop some relationships from out of that. I got to know Vadim/Creationist Cat, and we're still friends today. And I was friends with Kraut and T for a while until one day he woke up and appeared to have just completely lost his fucking mind. All of a sudden, he was obsessed with trying to destroy the SJWs. It was all he would talk about for like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months. The SJWs this, the SJWs that, the SJWs are evil, they're destroying everything. I must crush the SJWs, the SJWs. Oh my god, the SJWs are attacking me, they're coming to get me. And he'd just gone completely berserk. He changed overnight. He did things like sent long, rambling, confusing messages to my friend on Twitter, Coherent State, saying that he must destroy her and destroy the people like her because they're evil and they're blackmailers and they like pedophilia. And it was just completely unhinged. I'd get on Twitter and I'd try to calm him down and like kind of be like, alright dude, look, I know you've got this weird thing going on with the SJW community or whatever right now. And I suspect that's because they called him racist. Because he made a bunch of tweets like, Muslims are cockroaches. But Tim, Islam's not a race. Yeah. Okay. Like, Muslims are cockroaches. He was liking tweets about how brown people are ugly and no one should sleep with them and shit. Calling people Paki scum. And then trying to say, like, Paki is a term of endearment in Germany, which was obviously bullshit. And rightfully, probably rightfully, people were like, Kraut seems like a racist. And he's always talking about gassing the Jews and shit. You know, yeah, okay, he's got racial issues. He's kind of a racist person. And eventually I decided, you know what, I'm comfortable saying Kraut is a racist. Because he's always making these disturbing tweets about people who just happen to be brown. And his own Discord server at the time, which is now defunct, was crammed to the rafters with just racists endlessly spamming memes about Jews being killed and shit. And he actually had a problem with that. And he would say, how do I attract these people? How do I attract all these racist people? Or whatever. The answer to which is obvious, because you yourself partake in racist memes. And you yourself like racist tweets and make racist comments. So of course they like you. Like, stop being racist. Be anti-racist, and then the racist people won't like you so much. I mean, how complicated is that? I don't have a lot of racists following me because I don't say racist things. And when people do say racist things, I give them shit about it. So I don't have racist followers. I mean, it's not rocket science. Anyways, eventually he released this video about the SJW community, which is still one of the worst videos I've ever seen. Completely delirious, rambling, it didn't make any sense. The entire thing was based on guilt by association. He did things in the video, such as imply that my friend was a pedophile or a child predator by talking about this guy called Hannibal the Victor, who was a feminist back in the day before I even joined YouTube, who was found to be trying to solicit sex from underage girls. Kraut talked about this guy and said, the SJW community was fine with this, it had no problems with it, which is really weird because he never asked my opinion about it. He never asked, I don't know, Kevin Logan's opinion about it. He never asked anybody's opinion about what they think of Hannibal the Victor. He just assumed out of hand, like, oh, all of them condone this thing, because they're all a collective, they're all the same person, they're a hive mind, they all think the same thing. Total bullshit. And while he was talking about the SJW community being okay with pedophilia, he showed my friend on the screen for an extended period of time. And then he implied, like, what else could the SJW community be getting up to while showing my friend on the screen? And my friend reacted to this like, who's Hannibal the Victor? I've never heard of him. He literally didn't know who he was. And he's like, and why was I on the screen the whole time when he's talking about pedophilia? Is he trying to imply that I'm a child predator? Like, what is this? And Kraut spent an extended period of time talking about doxing and blackmail. And while he was doing that, he kept showing Tom Avella on the screen. And Tom Avella was like, what do I have to do with doxing and intimidation stuff? I've never doxed anyone. Who have I blackmailed? Why am I on the screen? And it was clearly a propaganda piece, trying to imply that anybody just vaguely associated with some people who had called him racist, like Sean and Jen called Kraut and T a racist, and he didn't like that, into pedophilia and doxing and blackmail. It was delirious and insane. And Sean and Jen, who was one of the main targets, was like, never heard of Hannibal the Victor, I've never heard of like Ozia or whatever, I've never heard of these people who you're saying that somehow I'm involved with. And one of the main people involved in the horrible shit, Jenny McDermott, she basically got booted out of the social justice community for being crazy and for being an arsehole and for saying that Armored Skeptic raped Sean and stuff. Everyone was like, that's unacceptable, and they kicked her out. There was the criticism that Jenny should have been kicked out of the community before that. That's a valid criticism, but that's different than saying like, oh, everybody condoned everything that Jenny did. That's not true. Tolerated too much? Yes. But once we start talking about what communities tolerate, who the hell is like innocent anymore? Nobody. And is the social justice community worse than any other community in that regard? Not even near. No. Also in Kraut's video, he had a snippet of me.
I actually even informed Tim over what I had found was done to Ozia, and his reaction apparently was to do a stream with Christy Winters and how important it is to never criticize those within their social justice community because it only serves those who oppose them.
So it's just a double bind. Like they're saying, oh, you should criticize each other more, but when you criticize each other more, we're going to misrepresent you and try to create divisions where there are none.
Well, that's the problem. Is I don't know what the criticism is going to be used for. Like, so if I criticize you or Michael or somebody else, I don't know what the fuck they're going to use that for. Like, what they're going to start churning out videos where they're like, oh, look, Tim is the good one. Tim is the guy who is taking it to Christy by saying this and that about her, and then I have to keep trying to correct them and say that that's not really what my criticism was about. You know, my criticism was about this and that, and they won't listen to what my criticism is about.
Ironically, Kraut took that snippet and turned it into something to use against me. So I was entirely proven right. I was like, yes, you know, when people twist your criticisms of people you know because they hate those people into something insane, it makes you a lot more cautious about criticizing those people because they're your friend and you don't want your words to be used to destroy them by being distorted and twisted. So by taking me out of context, Kraut proved my point. And then after that, I was like, you know, I'm just done with this guy. This guy is unstable, I guess, maybe kind of dangerous in a sense. He's sort of nuts, seems racist to me, like he's got a lot of racial hang-ups and shit. He's prone to edgelording, like just moronic, stupid edgelording, which is not funny and is embarrassing. So I was like, fuck it, I'm done with Kraut. Blocked him on Skype and was just like, good riddance to a bunch of bullshit and stress that I just don't need in my life. Moving forward to the current drama, Kraut and T set up a Discord server in order to source information about race realism from biologists and scientists and stuff so that he could debunk the alt-right. I don't know the exact timeline, to be perfectly honest, because I don't give a shit about Kraut's content or his opinions enough to actually like really follow it that closely, but my understanding is that he put up a video that was flagged down by the alt-right. After that, he began a vendetta against the alt-right, trying to destroy them. Now, this vendetta against the alt-right is perfectly in keeping with my understanding of Kraut's character. He had told me before that when people cross him, he wants to try to destroy them. I don't know if me saying that is breaking confidence or whatever, but if that's the case, you know, you can hold me to account for that. I am not perfect. And I think that's why he made that ridiculous social justice community video. Some people called him racist. He didn't like that, so he was like, you know what, I'm just going to try to destroy everybody. I'm just going to try to fucking crush the entire SJW community, no matter how illogical, irrational, insane, guilt by association, and propagandistic my approach is to it. It doesn't matter. I have to destroy those people because my feelings are hurt, and I'm very proud, and I have a very fragile ego. And even if myself, I hate the alt-right, I think it's a putrid pile of trash, idiots, trolls, garbage, just ridiculous individuals that I have no interest in knowing. The reason why Kraut is going against them so much is because they crossed him by flagging his video, so now he has to destroy them, because it's all pride for him. It's all ego. I have to prove that I'm better and smarter and stronger than these people. I don't think he's driven by anti-racist values or anything. I don't think he particularly cares that much about the actual substance of the issue at all, because he's perfectly fine being racist himself. I think it's just he has to destroy people who crossed him. The alt-right crossed him, so it's wartime. That was part of why I just lost the interest in associating with that guy, because he's unstable and crazy. So he made this server that's been going for a few months where they would have conversations about debunking race realism and the alt-right and so forth. And then it came out, and I can't confirm any of this stuff because it's just I've heard it through the grapevine, that a photo of a particular individual was shared on the server, and that a guy called Zeph, who's on the server, sent an email to some dude who they're fighting with that showed his address and so forth, and that was a threatening email. And then the Skeptosphere and the allies of the alt-right and so forth exploded in outrage, like this was a doxing server, and the server exists to gather information and destroy them and so forth. I've seen people try to argue that it's not doxing to share a photo on a server, but at the very least, it's spreading a dox. And it's sharing a dox. Where's the line between spreading and sharing a dox and doxing? I'm not particularly sure, and this conversation has been a back and forth in various communities for some time. Now, the Zephyr guy sending an email to someone with his address and such in it, is that an intimidation tactic? Is that kind of like a threat? Yes, obviously it is. Yeah, is it wrong? Of course it is. But the interesting thing about that is, like, all of these skeptic people are going berserk about this email. Oh my god, they're having streams with, like, 20 bajillion people screaming hysterically about, oh, it's a dox, oh, the address, and all this kind of shit. You know what I'm going to say? YouTuber Bearing sent an email to somebody called Danny Quartz where he said, oh, is this your school? Is this how I should refer to you as? And the skeptic community didn't care. They didn't care at all about that. Of course they don't care about that. Because that's Bearing doing a threatening dox email towards somebody who they don't like. And they don't care about it in the social justice community. Kraut can make his delirious, insane video about social justice warriors, and it's fine. No one cares about that. Doesn't matter what he makes up. Doesn't matter if he implies my friend is a pedophile. Doesn't matter if he implies my other friend does blackmail. It doesn't matter if he takes me out of context. They don't care about that kind of shit happening to people they don't like, and that's just a fucking fact. So I condemn Bearing's email, which people will make excuses about. That's completely different. You know, there's a different situation, and there's a lot of nuance to that. There's a lot of nuance to the situation. We've got to analyze it. And then the Zephyr guy sends the address to, like, Race Realist dude. Oh my god, the sky's falling down. My eyes are melting. Everything's exploding. Oh, I'm screaming hysterically. I can't even control my emotions. It's all very transparent. It's all very tribal. It's all very just in-group, out-group. Us versus them. It's all ego and pride. That's all YouTube is. It's just a bunch of people with massive egos running around trying to prove that they're better and smarter than everybody else and having selective outrage about things. This email, that's fine. I can explain that away. This email, I'm fucking outraged and I won't stop screaming. It's not about the substance of anything. Nobody cares about the substance of anything. It's just point scoring. So now there's this huge dramatic war going on and people are having all of these streams where they just yell hysterically at each other like a bunch of angry teenagers to the point that people are literally crying.
A PhD geneticist.
Kraut, you didn't contact me. I tried to talk to you. I tried to tell you how to...
I do not give a damn about the opinions of some sociologists.
God damn it, Kraut. You know how much I like you, and this was like really messed up. Me more than anyone. I have tried to help you since the beginning of this.
No, you have not.
Yes, Kraut, don't even. You know this, that I have come to. I came to you at the beginning of this fucking thing, and I said, you don't understand. Yes, I did. I came to you at the very fucking beginning of this, and I said, I will help you understand because there is.
I will help you what? No.
And I came to you and I said I knew the research on this. I'm trying to fucking help you. Kraut, I tried to help you. I tried to help you.
Oh my god, Kraut, you were my friend. Oh, I just wanted to be there for you. And Kraut and Naked Ape had a stream with just Naked Ape being like, you fucking retard, Kraut, you autistic fucking retard moron. Fuck you, you dumb fuck, stupid fuck.
Not provide evidence.
Kraut, you are poisoning the well.
You are
poisoning the well. Claims about biology. Kraut, stop poisoning the well. I'm just going to yell at you if you don't stop poisoning the well. I've never.
It's providing. It's providing.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Let me talk. Stop poisoning the well. Okay. He did not prove it in the positive. He disproved the other proposition.
How did he disprove it?
Like I said before. Kraut, shut up! Don't fucking interrupt me! For fuck's sake, I'm going to remove your ability to talk if you do that again.
And it's times like this that I become glad of the fact that I never got more deeply involved in the kind of like skeptosphere, anti-feminists, whatever community, because the community that I'm a part of, like the social justice community or whatever, we're all very supportive of each other and we're all quite positive, and if we have issues we tend to talk it out like mature individuals. We don't have streams where we scream at each other. My friend Vadim /creationless cat, he was on the Kraut server and he ended up going on a stream where it was like 9 people yelling at him.
Who is it that I'm talking to right now?
Somebody who's done more in their 1 year of YouTube than you have sucking off the drunken peasants for the past 4.
That's fucking totally like just bullshit. Because the drunken peasants, like, they won't even have me on their show because I like talk shit.
Because they like ratings now.
They don't want to talk about fucking Applebee's. That's why they don't want you on.
Goddamn, Malcolm.
The Amazing Atheist.
Hey, Begin.
So it's
hey,
just
Begin. This is your alter ego telling you how fucking stupid you sound right now.
Angry big cow, who let you in? Get out! Yeah, get out! Fucking mute him. Get him out.
But why are we attacking Redeem?
Yeah,
I think the problem. Wait, real quick. I think Redeem.
all you want. That's fine. I mean,
Vadim.
But I came in here because
hang on.
Vadim. I just wanted to say the reason that we're kind of jumping on you is because you're kind of trying to paint an out for them. For the shitty actions.
That is a very valid
It's
point.
gross, Vadim. It's gross.
No hard feelings to those of you who are cool, and for those of you who are dogpiling me, suck my fucking dick.
No one suck.
You can't get 50-year-old women to suck your dick at Applebee's, Vadim.
Bye.
Stay quiet.
Oh my god, Vadim, it was a doxing server and it was the worst place on earth and everybody died and now it's a nightmare, you fucking lying scam. Oh my god, I'm just... I talked to Vadim about it and he was like, God, that was stressful being like dogpiled by 9 people. But I honestly think that Vadim is a little bit naive about this. He needs to realize at this point in time, if there is a hysteria in the skeptic community about something and you are not really in that community because you're more to the left, you're more friendly with like social justice advocates and feminists and so forth, you necessarily become the representative for the thing that they hate. So Vadim was on the stream just to be yelled at as the representative of all of the evil social justice shit. I think Vadim expected to go on and just like give his point of view. No, like 9 people are gonna yell at you about how you are the evil satanic pro-doxing monster. You are the #1 apologist for these evil social justice warriors, which somehow now includes Kraut and shit. And that's the way it works. It's a fucking swarm. I think Vadim should have been more aggressive and been more like, fuck you for trying to make me the representative of everything that you don't like. Vadim said he did get stressed by being just massively dogpiled by these people. What do you expect? These people are hysterical. They're completely out of their fucking minds. Sargon of Akkad came out with a video about Kraut where he said,
I don't really approve of behaviour on both sides, but I approve of Kraut's behaviour less. I think that he's been culture warrioring it up at the alt-right, which I don't think is appropriate because they're not really a valid target for that kind of thing. And going against the alt-right like this isn't justified. They're not capable of doing anyone any serious damage. They can't. They're powerless. It's not appropriate to do this.
A bunch of people were angry about that. Oh my god, Sargon said the alt-right is not a valid target. Where the fuck have you guys been, man? How many times does Sargon of Akkad have to suck the alt-right's nuts before you realize he's just an apologist for those people? He doesn't see them as a valid target because the only thing that matters to him is social justice warriors. I mean, he had me in a thumbnail where he said the SJW community admit they are monsters. What do you mean? Where did I admit I was a monster? Like, where does that even come from? It's because his mind is rotted with SJWism. It's the only thing he cares about. How could you possibly be surprised that he doesn't want to criticize the alt-right? How is this a skeptical community? I don't understand. The alt-right are Sargon's allies. He's as racist as they are. He went on Millennial Woe's stream. He just did marketing tips for the alt-right. He's their best friend.
I think the alt-right is not playing on these people in the right way. I think that you guys need to find a different approach to achieve your goals.
Well, perhaps. What would you suggest? Do you have some kind of idea?
I do. I have the perfect idea. But before I explain it, I think it's worth pointing out that in many ways, we do have similar objectives, at least on the road, right? So we have the same enemies. I mean, you guys hate the SJWs. I hate the SJWs. There's no question of that. The alt-right can gain everything they want using social justice.
Right.
He's never going to criticize them. All he cares about is monsters like me, because apparently I'm fucking frightening and terrifying. I don't even know why. It's not a skeptical community. It's a dumpster fire. And I've also found that over time, it's like impossible for me to maintain any relationships with any of these like skeptical people. It never works out. For example, Jeff Holiday is one of the skeptical people. He blocked me because I accurately and rightfully pointed out that Mouthy Buddha, his friend, was racist. That may sound like an insult. Oh, everybody overuses racist. But Mouthy made a series about the Jewish question, scarcely managed to even refute it, so he just presented a lot of Nazi views, and then he said on a stream, when I see a black person just in life, I think of IQ. So he thinks about how they have lower IQ. That's the definition of racism. I'm not saying it as an insult. Mouthy Buddha was literally just saying, he's racist. I'm so sorry that that word offends you so much. I didn't even know that Mouthy Buddha was friends with Jeff Holiday, but like his panties gonna twist, he blocks me. Because he can't handle any fucking pushback about anything. He's fragile. Fragile ego. Like so many of these fucking people. And before he blocked me, he said, I don't even know why I give you the time of day, Tim. You're nothing to me. I have so many more subscribers and so many more views. And I just think, wow. So that's how shitty you are. I'm very naive, and I think when I'm actually like making a connection with people, it's an actual connection. We're actually creating some kind of friendship or something. Alright, well that was all lies then, because you just saw me as a charity case because you think you're so fucking high and mighty because of your stupid subscribers and views. Fuck you. I don't give a shit about that. Apparently Jeff Holiday is a fake-ass fuckhead, so yeah, fuck off. I don't want to be a friend anyways. I had a friendly relationship with Shoonhead, but she got sick of me criticizing her. Maybe she saw it as like sniping or something, and she said, Tim, you've become irrational because you disagree with me all the time. I am kind of sarcastic on Twitter. I can't help it. It's my personality. I'm a sarcastic person. But she was like, oh, because you're so irrational all the time criticizing me, I'll unfollow you. Alright, fine. Kris Raygun. I was friendly with him. Same deal. I criticized him a bunch. He unfollowed me. I'm a skeptic. Same deal. Criticized him a bunch. Unfollowed me. Ian Miles Chong. Bearing, obviously we got off to a very bad start because I first made a video criticizing his dogpiling tactics, but I do think he escalated it when he used my video, talking about something very similar to that server actually, where something was shared in a private group, but also in that situation that group was not the source. And then I made a video about that. And Bearing escalated that into like an 8-month smear campaign against Christy Winters using my video, which was pure lies. And then he refused to apologize for his blatant mistruths and lies and dishonesty.
So back to this conversation between Tim, aka Demotivator Opinion, and Bearing Cab, in which Tim actually named those I was asking him for yesterday. The names of the people who orchestrated this whole thing. The people who gathered up all of our private info and put it in the hands of this serial doxer and shitstirrer. Those names were Danny Courts and Christy Winters.
Ready? Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying. Always lying to me. You lying so much.
And then when he finally had to admit, okay, look, I was wrong, Christy Winters did not coordinate with Encyclopedia Dramatica. I kind of made that up. When he finally admitted that, he still wouldn't apologize or take fault, because these people cannot take responsibility for anything. And he said, I had to, because Christy hates me so much, and she's so bad, she's such an evil person. I had to make up all this shit, so you can see my side. I had to lie. They can't take responsibility. Sargon Mehcad, I actually tried to talk to him about doing a live stream, but he kept waving me away. He did that for weeks on end, and eventually he blocked me over some just innocuous comment. Kraut and T, as I said, eventually he just went batshit insane. I couldn't reason with him anymore, so that was done. Uzulu, we were friendly for a while with the whole AIU thing, and then eventually, when we did come to like argue about things, his sole argument was always just calling me dishonest. Whenever I make any point, he's like, you're dishonest, Tim. And I'm like, why am I dishonest? And he's like, well, because you're a dishonest person. I'm like, why? Oh, you don't even know you're dishonest. To me, that's the Sargon method, because whenever I had any engagement with Sargon, he would do exactly the same thing. Just say, oh, you're a liar. You're a liar and you're dishonest. It's like, how's that a fucking argument? Like, they can't even address points or anything. So then eventually I was like, well, fuck Uzulu too, then. Naked Ape, I was actually friendly with him momentarily, and I helped him with some screenshots for one of his videos, and then one day he's just like, oh, Tim is a fucking retard or something. Like, why? Because you don't like my point of view? You don't like my views? Out of nowhere he's suddenly really insulting to me. I don't understand. so many of these people. I don't understand how they decide to go from being friendly to just being total assholes. But it happens over and over and over again. It's just really bizarre to me. It's made me extremely distrustful, and it's made me very glad to be in the community that I am a part of. Now, I understand that, like, Michael Rowlands and Christy Winston and stuff, and Steve Shive, so forth, there's a lot of people that don't like them, and I have gotten along with them better because we agree more on things ideologically, and we can actually talk stuff through, and we don't snipe at each other or anything. And this is all just personal experience. I'm not discounting anybody else's experiences with those individuals. But I am not those individuals. Like, I'm a separate, different person from them. And that gets discounted because people just say, oh, but SJWs are collectivist. And they believe in a group. They don't believe in individualism. It doesn't even matter what I say. I just get guilt by association anyways. And that's why I think so much of the online dialogue is just based on hurt feelings, fragile egos. These people are very precious. They don't want their fragile, precious little egos damaged. They don't want to feel like, oh, I was wrong about something. They never want to admit when they've made mistakes. And many times they're completely illogical. Like Sargon Mehcad recently said, Heather Heyer, who was killed by a Nazi dude in Charlottesville, she died of a heart attack with no evidence. It's a right-wing conspiracy theory. A guy called Gerald Holt pointed out on a website called Right Wing Watch, and Sargon responded to him by saying he was right, Heather Heyer was killed by the car, and he's a liar. Because why not? You just have to call everybody a liar.
Carl Benjamin, known by his popular persona Sargon Mehcad, expressed his sympathies with racist alt-right movement this week. I am literally as sympathetic to the alt-right as I am to the far left. And what did I recommend the alt-right do? That's right, join the far left. So it's weird that you'd leave this out, Jared. But I mean, I'm not calling you a massive fucking liar. Except I can't think of a polite way of phrasing that, so I'm just going to call you a massive fucking liar. Including perpetuating alt-right propaganda that Heather Heyer was not killed by a car attack at the Unite the Right earlier this year, but instead suffered a heart attack due to poor health. Okay, well if that's wrong, I'm happy to correct it. Let me just pause what I'm doing and do some Googling. So I found this article on Newsweek. Charlottesville, Heather Heyer's cause of death has been revealed in a medical report. Okay. The anti-racism activist was killed at the white nationalist protest as a result of blunt force injury to the chest, according to a medical report.
So long as you call somebody a liar, the fans like, Sargon may have been wrong, but the other guy was a liar because he called him a liar. Which means Sargon is still smart somehow. It's pride and it's ego. And its fragility. Everybody will have a different personal experience with different communities. For example, people will have had a bad experience with some people I know, like Tom Bloke, who's this Twitterer, who often does like sort of gotcha things. And they'll come to me and they'll say like, what about Tom Bloke? What about Christy Winters? What about this or that? And to that I would say, you've got your own personal experiences with these things, and I respect that, and that's perfectly fine, but I'm not their boss, and I'm not their representative. All I can do is speak to my individual experiences with so many of these Skeptisphere people, and I just gotta say, like, insecurity seems like the #1 thing that stands out about so many of these folks. An obsession over subscribers and view counts and shit. That's why I've increasingly been leaning towards just making music videos and making silly parody videos and just doing goofy things, because it's so tiring and boring. Fuck off, Fly. And I do think people in my community do get caught up in the drama shit too much. Fuck off, Fly! Anyways, finally, I will say that there are two kind of skeptic people relationships that so far have gone pretty good. Bunty King, we got off to a rocky start. I disagree with him on a bunch of things. We've had a couple of kind of like, I don't know, passive-aggressive exchanges or whatever, but he's willing to follow me, and I don't know how open he is to criticism or whatever, but yeah, he's been reasonably chill about things. I also started a stream with Andy Watsky, and I disagree with him on tons of things. I think we particularly disagree on some issues to do with race and society and so forth, and I have given him shit in the past, but he approached me to do a show, and he seems pretty good faith. Even though he did strawman me in episode 2, I was not saying August Ames has to sleep with people, you fucking Andy. It's not like everybody is the same, and maybe I haven't criticized Bunty and Andy as much as I have some previous people yet at this point in time. So maybe an unfollow or a block is coming with those folks at some point. But I guess I just find it a little bit fascinating how much of this online stuff is just pure drama, double standards, selective outrage, people flipping the fuck out. And I think even if Kraut and T is going against the alt-right, I still see him as a highly unstable individual, and obviously the people on the other side are going against him, like Sargon, are just ignorant alt-right enablers and morons who are obsessed with quote-unquote SJWs and feminists and such. So it's a bit like, I don't care if the whole thing burns down. Who the fuck am I supposed to be rooting for here? Do I root for the insane lunatic who just shat his pants over social justice? Or do I root for, like, white ethnostatists, white nationalists, white supremacists, neo-Nazi scumfuck fascists? At the end of the day, ideologically, I would like the white nationalist supremacist fascist people to lose because they're just the fucking worst, scum of the earth. But the fact that Kraut is the guy doing it, I know that he does it out of ego. So I'm still going to approach that at arm's length. At the end of the day, I think I'm just going to have to focus on things that make me happy and that I enjoy doing, because it's a cesspool and it's just a pit of snakes, backstabbers, and just a bunch of shit, really. So my next video, I will be releasing my soundtrack for my Australia travel video. Then I want to review Hillary Clinton's book, which I still haven't gotten around to. I also wanted to make a video about free speech on college campuses. And beyond that, fuck this YouTube scene, fuck it all. It's a mess. Burn it down. I hope a nuclear bomb drops on top of it and just liquidates all of it, because it's... no, putrid cesspool of shit. Thanks.